Afrofish OG. What is good, everyone? Welcome to another edition of Afro in the Know. It is the 21st of February. We're almost getting out of the cold where I'm at over here. I'm not going to lie to you. I'm sick of it. I'm not.
I am too.
I'm so done. We got a bit where it was like 40 degrees, and then it went right back into the 20s.
Yeah, it's been rough over here in the true north,
The
over in
true north.
Beaverville.
Beaverville.
Yeah.
I can't. Nah. I was like, and I thought the names that, you know what? If it was up to me, I wouldn't pick the name.
No, I mean, freaking Canada's got some pretty aptly named places. But it's pretty cold up here. I mean, it's warmer now. I need to do the conversion from Celsius to Fahrenheit, but
Fair.
it,
That's
it's
fair.
been
Yeah.
below freezing continually since January.
Oh, gross. Gross. Well, I mean, despite that, we still got a great guest here today, Hydramazing, all the way over from like content creator, TikToker, just fucking. I'm not gonna lie to you. This guy gets into fights all the time with like commenters who are just stupid online. I've seen
So
it.
true.
I've seen it. And I'm happy that you're here, man. I really am.
Well, I'm
Like,
happy to be here, man. Yeah, I'm excited to do this.
yeah,
Got some
no,
fun stuff to
I am.
talk
I
about.
110%. I am too. So for the people out there who might not know who you are, the floor is yours. A little bit about yourself.
Okay, cool. My name is Hydramazing. I'm primarily a TikToker, though late last year I started a YouTube channel and Twitch account, so I'm on there too. I just like talking about video games, everything about video games in general, specifically Horizon, like Horizon Zero Dawn and Horizon Forbidden West. I'm like a really big fan of those games, but I'm also a big fan of gaming overall. I like to try and talk about positive things. I know that there's like ample spaces on the internet where you can find negative gaming conversations, and so I've wanted to kind of find a way to spin things in a positive way, or not even just like spin things in a positive way, just bring positive conversations to light. Because while there is a lot of negativity, there's also a lot of positivity, and that I think often goes ignored.
110%. I would agree with that. I mean, I think for a lot of people, it is very easy to dip into the negatives. Like it
Yeah.
is very easy. Like with all the ways that people kind of, I don't want to say manage to fall in a little bit,
Hmm.
fall into the negativity. But staying positive, staying optimistic, it'll give you the best experiences.
Yeah, and I think those pitfalls also apply to creators as much as commenters, because I've seen channels where people will just talk about video games too, and then they'll bring up like one negative thing, and that video will blow up,
Mhm.
and now they're kind of like, whoa, if I just keep doing this, I get a ton of views, and without even intending for it to happen, they end up becoming negative content creators who focus heavily on negativity because that's where the views are at. But there's views in being nice too.
Right. Well, exactly. And I think that's also where for a lot of people, it's really not the group that you want.
Hmm.
If you are getting like, hey, I want to talk about video games and all that, eventually, if you go down that negative route, that's all you will see is
Hmm.
negativity. You'll get the people coming in negative, and honestly, it's draining. Even just
Oh,
being
it
like a
is.
just being like a content creator and like bringing people coming in and constantly being like, well, this game sucks. Well, this game is bad. I had a video that I made about my favorite games that I played, and I ranked them. I graded them of 2025. And I gave a game about digging a hole that I had an 8 out of 10. I had fun with it.
Yeah.
It's a great time. And I played, I believe it was Absalom, and I gave it like an eight
Absalom is
or like an
peak.
8 or a 9. And someone, I forgot, I think it might have been Absalom, but they were like, "You're gonna give this game the same rate as like a game about digging a hole?" I'm like, "Yeah," because I enjoyed them both.
Yeah.
And it was just it's the initial it's an emotional reaction
Hmm.
by far. It's it's an emotional reaction, but it never should. I don't want to say it should feel like that. Like if you see someone who's like has a different opinion than yours, especially when it comes to liking certain video games.
Yeah, I mean, I made like a top 10 video games of all time list middle of last year.
Oh boy.
And I'm someone who is very non-nostalgic about older games. I relatively believe that gaming has gotten better as time has gone on, just in terms of like quality releases. And so a lot of my games were relatively recent on that top 10 list. And so people were, they had some interesting things to say to me in the comment section.
I can only imagine. Just
and
L
and
takes, L
and the thing is
takes.
too, it's like they obviously don't want me to lie. Like they want to know what my top 10 honest favorite games of all time are. And I try to use subjective language too to not create any confusion. But they're like, "Whoa, you didn't put The Witcher 3 up here?" And I'm like, "Yeah, I played it. I enjoyed it. It just wasn't in my top 10." And they're like, "Whoa, you should have lied to me and said it was in your top 10." I'm like,
Oh my god,
"Why? Why would
that's
you want that?"
that's so dumb. And like I'll say too, it's the same thing that happens when anytime you do a top 10 list.
Hmm.
Like as soon as you put top 10, like views do show up, but you get a lot of people who come in who are just like, why is my favorite game not in the top 10?
Yeah, I know Co-op 64 is doing their, I think it was top 50 games of all time,
Mm.
and they've been going through them, so they've reached the top 10 now. So every game that they give is going to be the wrong answer,
Well,
unfortunately.
oh no, of course. And it's interesting that you do mention that you don't have that nostalgia for older games because that clearly clouds a lot of people.
I think so
Um,
too. I mean, like I'm not someone who is against playing older games. I've been playing through the entirety of the Final Fantasy series, starting from Final Fantasy One,
mm,
which I think came out in the '80s, and so it's like I enjoy these games too. I think they're fun, but I'm not going to look back on, say, and this is a little controversial take, like the OG Final Fantasy VII, which I know revolutionized RPGs, revolutionized gaming
right.
for a lot of people, and try to say that it's better than like Metaphor Refantasio, because in my heart of hearts, I just don't believe that.
That's fair. No, no, that's fair. Like I do the same as like I was like I can respect a game like KOTOR,
Hmm.
but when I played it, like I didn't play it back when the Xbox came out. I like played it like a year or two ago, and I was like, I did not like it. I
Yeah, funny
couldn't
enough,
get
that's how I
into.
feel about Baldur's Gate 1 and 2. I
Mm,
think for the time and just like even now the writing holds up very well. The
mm,
the just style of an RPG that they are, but
right.
a lot of the decisions are clearly made with like the very old game design philosophies. And so I'm like, this would have been amazing to play in the late '90s and early 2000s. I did not play them then. I played them in the 2020s. So
No, exactly. Like, and there's some like I like saying there's some games of just like you have to be their moment.
yeah,
It's and I like the like when I talk about like Halo's one, the Halo moments where you're playing with your friends in LAN parties. Yeah, that's just a you have to be their
you
moment.
just gotta be there.
Yep, I'm sorry. You just have to be there. For me it was like Ocarina of Time was like that. You just had to be there when that first came out. And
99 on Metacritic, by the way. That's
a
crazy.
99?
It's the highest rated game of all time.
Oh my god. Damn. I'm gonna go play that game and just make like negative like comments about the
Oh yeah,
whole
that
thing.
you'll get a huge view count. I mean, the
Oh yeah.
meta honestly is, I mean, because you got a nostalgia bait and then also rage bait. So you got to say Breath of the Wild and Tears of the Kingdom suck. Ocarina of Time was better. And then everybody's like, you know what? Yeah, yeah, I played it when I was a kid. It is better.
Yeah. Oh no. Well, and if you want to do the real controversial ones, you're like, because I'll tell people like, Ocarina of Time's not even in my top three, and then they're like, why not? And I was like, because I like Majora's Mask better.
Hmm. Oh,
Well, what does
Majora's
Majora's?
Mask.
Yeah, like what does Majora's Mask do? And I'm like, I like it better. I try to tell them like I like it better. Like I think it's more interesting. I like the darker themes of it. I love the whole fact of like kind of like the aspects of death when it comes to
Hmm.
it. Some of the temples I like better than some of the temples in Ocarina of Time.
Yeah,
Uh,
my
you know,
top three are Twilight Princess,
mm.
Wind Waker, and Spirit Tracks. I'm a rare
Spirit
Spirit
Track.
Tracks enjoyer. I you freaking when I was a kid, I was on the train tracks. I was running away from those explosive like enemy trains. I was in there, man.
I love it. I love it. I would have to say my top three are Twilight Princess as well, because I think Twilight Princess, and I say Twilight Princess over Ocarina of Time, obviously, because I think Twilight Princess does everything that Ocarina of Time did, just better.
Yeah.
Just more detail is just what I want. Minish Cap is my number two.
Ooh.
Yes, I remember playing that when I was a kid. This is obviously highly nostalgia, but like I remember playing it when I was a kid, and just being enamored by it. I loved that they could the growing and shrinking whole mechanic was really interesting for this game. Some of the bosses are pretty cool, and like the ability to like make the little clones of yourself and stuff was cool. Vati is a scary ass, is a scary ass villain.
Yeah.
And so I loved it. I loved every aspect of it. And I think my third is going to be Majora's Mask. Like I just think it was awesome.
Yeah. That's
And like that fierce deity mode, when you put that fierce deity
bro.
mask on, oh,
I mean, okay, actually, if we're counting spin-offs, I would say Hyrule Warriors would be my favorite Zelda game.
Hyrule Warriors.
I'm a
Which
big,
one though? Like the original Hyrule
ooh.
Warriors?
Yeah.
Okay.
I think I haven't played the newest one. I don't have a Switch 2, but
Yeah, no,
Age of Calamity I thought was a very good implementation of like Breath of the Wild stuff into like Dynasty Warriors format.
Mm.
Hyrule Warriors Definitive Edition, like the first one, that one I think I actually had like 1,000 hours in that game.
Oh my God.
it is some of the most content rich like gaming experiences you will ever have in your life. There's like a storyboard mode where every single
Yep.
piece you move over is like a new level. I did all of it.
Oh my God. And I think I love it. I agree with you, because I think Hyrule Warriors is such a love letter to like all of its fans throughout the years. And I tell people, like, go and play it. Like, this is the one game where you're gonna really be able to play as like. Also gives me the coolest version of Ganondorf.
Yes.
Like I was like,
nice.
I used to call him like Ganon Madara, and so like,
Yeah, bro was like, I mean, he felt like it.
yeah, he had the
He's-
look and everything.
He's summoning like the Shadow Ganon behind him, and it's like wiping out all the. It's so cool.
It is, and I loved playing as like I didn't mind playing as Girahim. I loved playing as like Princess Ruto was one of my favorites to play as.
There are so many. Like I like the idea of, hey, here's like all the Zelda characters, put them into a game, and you can play as the heroes and the villains and across all the different worlds. And I'm like, they need to do this for Final Fantasy. We need a Final Fantasy Warriors game. I don't know how else to say it. We need one where it's just like all the different Final Fantasy main characters and antagonists, put them into a game, have the different maps across all the different worlds. Come on, Square.
I can see that. Like, I really could. Like, I could see them, like you said, bringing like the main MCs, and then like, let's say, I don't know, there's like a villain, one new villain. Shit, I zoomed in my camera.
Ooh, technology.
Yeah, like technology is dope until it like does this shit.
Use the Force.
Yeah, I know. I'm super close up, and I'm not liking it at all. Like my camera. So I'm supposed to do this. It's kind of close. Supposed to do this. Yeah.
Yeah.
Awesome. Okay. Yeah. Don't ever do it. So, but I think what was one of my favorite moments in there, just in thinking about Final Fantasy, would be if they had, this other villain who's just like merging all the villains together.
Yeah.
Kefka, Titan. God, I want to see Cloud go up against the Final Fantasy 16 like icons.
Yeah, Ultima.
Oh my God, I would watch it. Like
cinema, man.
It is. It's pure cinema. I think it'd be fun. I think it'd be really, really fun. And even with Nintendo and like being able to do the Hyrule Warriors, I think Dynasty Warriors just in general, that formula is also just really good for Sony.
Bro, I'm such a Dynasty Warriors head. It's like, I get it. But a lot of people find the combat repetitive. A lot of people are not a big fan of like the 1 versus 1,000 model. Me, I'm old fashioned. I like the power fantasy. Give me a spear, send 1,000 guys at me, and watch me knock them all back with one attack.
I'm just saying. That's why I thought of when I saw that Project Windless. It gave me little bits of Dynasty Warriors.
Chicken Dynasty Warriors.
Dude, I cannot wait. Like Poultry Fighter 2026 is going to be my favorite game. Next to Tides of Annihilation, that is.
Oh yeah, you're a big. When's that coming out? That's coming out soon, right?
I think it's towards the end of the year actually.
Oh, okay.
Um, but yeah, it's I just really I don't know. I'm a fucking stand for Tides of Annihilation. I think it's just
Hmm.
hearing about like you can fight with like the characters of the Knights of the Round Table,
Hmm.
like okay, like
Plus, it's Jennifer English as the main voice actor,
yes,
right? Yeah. So
yeah.
game of the year material.
Oh yeah, no, right, yeah, right then and there. Like she's gonna win her second actor of the year.
Yeah, because like Mael and Shadowheart, that's just like
That's kind of two for two. Like
yeah, pretty banger right there.
yeah, you she only picks like stellar roles, so I think it's gonna be I think it's gonna be a really fun one. But I am really excited to talk about one thing is it comes with speedrunning, right?
Mm.
Speaking of which, I really want to talk about speedrunning first and
Oh, for
foremost
sure.
because
Yeah, yeah. I love
I'm not
speedrunning.
gonna lie to you, I am a trash speedrunner. Okay,
Mm.
I've tried it.
For now.
Yeah, for now, yeah, sure. For now, I've tried in like certain old games. Super Mario 64 was one of them. Like I'll do speed runs for myself, like personal ones. Mirror's Edge is one that I was trying
Mm.
to. They have like kind of a speed run mode on that one, which is I'm okay at. I'm good at the first two levels. And then
Okay.
I watched a dude online who was like figuring out how to do like super like jump kicks and stuff, and I was like,
Yeah,
yeah,
never check online and compare yourself.
I,
There's some freaks of nature out there.
I know it's true. It's kind of like going to like it's kind of like if you're sick and you go to like WebMD. what do
Yeah,
I
yeah, it's not the place to be.
no, but I mean, you're a speedrunner yourself. So
Hmm.
like, how did you even like? What did you even want to? Why did you even want to start with it?
So like the game that I speedrun is Returnal. And the reason why I started speedrunning it in the first place was because I love the game a lot. I had no idea what the speedrunning scene even looked like at the time or like what the tricks were. And I was just like, this game seems kind of built for speedrunning. It's a roguelike, so it's like built for starting over and resetting runs over and over again. Plus, you have like, it's relatively a short game if you're good. The main difficulty comes from dying over and over again, but if you can get through it without dying, it's like an hour long. If you
Really?
can, well, I mean, like there's like a whole bunch of story stuff too, but if we're just like talking straight beelining it for the final boss,
Oh,
you can
yeah,
get
that's
it
true.
done very quickly. Um, and plus, it's like a new game plus run. So I wanted to challenge myself and just kind of be like, how fast can I beat this game that I play for fun, even though I've already completed it? And so I set a goal for myself of sub 1 hour. And then I checked the leaderboards and I realized that everybody's way beyond sub 1 hour, so I would be by far the slowest run. But I was like, I gotta try. And so I got a sub 1 hour run, and then I was like, wait, that's kinda easy. Could I actually like place on the leaderboard not in last place? And so that's where I started thinking, and I was like, I think I can get sub half an hour. So I started grinding it out, and then eventually I did. I got it to sub half an hour. I think I'm fifth place now on the leaderboard with that.
Oh wow.
Um, I honestly think I want to get like a 1 or 2 minute time improvement because that would put me in third place
Oh wow.
because fourth and third are like really close to me. Second and first, those people they can have it. They got it. They're pretty good. So no ambitions for
that's
that one right now, but
that's awesome. Like, and I mean, I've played a bit of Returnal. I my goal is to go back and play. I think it's on the PlayStation Plus, anyways.
it
So
is, and it's a great game.
yeah, I gotta go back and play it. But it is really cool watching speedrunning. I think it's interesting watching how many people can like. I don't want to say break the game per se. Some games get broke. I mean, some games get
Oh yeah.
like I was watching a speed run of Doom Eternal.
Hmm.
The guy beat it in like 27 minutes.
Have you ever seen the Elden Ring speed run? Like the
That
actual
is
any
the
percent Elden Ring speed run?
not the any percent I've seen, and it is the I was like, this is the dumbest thing
Yeah,
ever.
they like
Like,
freaking they like walk up, they block, and then they like teleport 80 miles ahead of themselves. It's like whoa,
yes,
whoa, whoa.
and there's me like still fighting like the tree sentinel, being like,
Hmm.
damn.
Yeah, it's crazy. And I know oftentimes a lot of people like when people first saw that run. I remember seeing it a few years ago. They were like, that doesn't count. Like, how could you play the game like this? You're not even really playing the game. And I thought that was a funny thing to say because even figuring out that exploit in the first place takes like insane amounts of game knowledge.
Hmm.
I think that having different categories in speedruns is very important. So obviously you have like glitchless speedruns, you have speedrunning while beating every boss, and like all these different categories. But I think when it comes to an any percent all glitches allowed, no holds barred speedrun, it's about beating the game as fast as possible by any means necessary.
Oh, exactly. Like it don't matter how you get there as long as you get there. And
Yeah.
so, that's why like you'll see a lot of them, especially like older games. I mean, I know earlier we talked about Super Mario 64 and like Luigi speedruns. Like
Mm-hmm.
he's got what, any 0 star, 1 star, 16, 70, and 120, I think it is.
Yes.
Which is
At the same
insane.
time.
I sat and I watched the entire 120 run. And
Mm-hmm.
I was just like, this is wild.
He's actually the GOAT. It's crazy.
Yeah,
Undisputed.
it is. And when you're watching someone do, especially in any speed run, like you have to remember that yes, they are going to this is how your game's going to get broken. I mean,
For
even
sure.
though I was watching Summoning Salt, I love Summoning Salt. I think he's a really interesting one, especially explaining how the intricacies work.
Yeah.
And he was talking about Mario 64 when you first started, and like the jump you have to do is like right on the edge, just like one frame you have to hit in order to bypass
The Lucky to skip?
yes, the Lakitu skip.
Yeah, yeah.
And even just that alone is like takes so much practice.
Yeah, and they make it look so easy in the run too. Is they don't even like mention it anymore, but that was such a big discovery when it was found out because
Mm-hmm.
it's an awesome time save.
Yeah, and you might think like, oh, it only cuts back on like 2 seconds, but that 2 seconds is a lot when it comes to any kind of speed runs.
Mm-hmm.
I love it. Have you tried like doing other games for speed runs?
I've tried like certain parts of them. I don't think I've ever gone for like a full speed run in another game, but in Mario 64 specifically, I have a friend who speed runs it, and he like taught me how to do backwards long jumps on the stairs. That if you've never done them before, it's very satisfying when you actually when you find the groove and you get it, and you freaking flash step behind the door. It's awesome.
It does look really cool when I've tried and just failed so many times.
Yeah.
But it is awesome. I think Ocarina of Times was like 4 minutes or something. And it's just like I think you had to place a bug. It was like something about placing a bug on like a certain part of the door or something like that, and then just like shot
Yeah.
you right to the end.
One very satisfying one to watch that uses some glitches but doesn't look too janky is the Breath of the Wild speedrun.
Really?
The way that they like skip the tutorial, go straight for Ganon, beat the game, because like that's something you can technically do for the most part. There's like one glitch that uses momentum to get Link with the glider to go like really fast so you can get there quick. But for the most part, it looks pretty cohesive.
I'll have to go give that a look. I haven't had a chance to look at that one yet.
I
But
also think like kind of speedrunning adjacent, you also have like people breaking open games in very weird ways. Like the guy who beat what was it? Seeing how many stars you can collect in 0 button presses, and he like did quantum. I had to find the video, but like he did some quantum calculations where like if you build up enough momentum on this one stairway, it actually sends Mario so far out of bounds that he goes back into bounds on another plane of existence. And then if you do it in the exact right position, he actually like moves up 1 pixel, scaled over 1 trillion pixels, and that makes him go into the star. I'm like, how do
that
you
that's
you could be solving something really important right now, and you're dedicating this mathematical knowledge to a single star in Mario.
I mean, to be fair, that's what I think about most power scalers. Is like I'm like if y'all like banded together and decided to instead of focusing on like two anime characters
The
fighting.
collective good we could actually enact on the world is being stopped by figuring out if Broly is stronger than Sailor Moon.
Right. No, exactly. Like if we're gonna have to start doing is like having them go to like certain, let's say, landscaping or something like that, and then just making it versus competitions constantly.
Yeah. Who can mow this lawn the fastest? Who can who can triangulate the angle needed to connect this Wi-Fi link the fastest?
Our planet would basically look like Coruscant because
Yeah,
it would just
we
they'd
would
be
be
like,
in the future.
oh yeah, we'd just be sitting there being like, well, I mean, I did it first. Like, it was like that's all it takes.
Another good example of like someone breaking a game that I just remembered was I I forget what it was. It was a speed run of a Paper Mario game. I forget which one specifically,
Ooh, I love Paper
where
Mario.
you program, you reprogram the game by using inputs within the game, because there's certain things that can cause certain bugs in the code, and then those bugs actually add parts to the programming. And then halfway through, you take the disk out and put in Ocarina of Time, do a bunch of other inputs, then quickly take that disk out and put back in Paper Mario, and it will execute the command to automatically teleport you to the ending of the game.
How? Like, how do you find that out?
I, I, I watched the video of it. I've watched it a bunch of times. I have no idea how it works. I don't even know how you would begin to
I
figure
swear,
that out.
I saw a dude who ended up beating, I think it was Pokemon Red backwards. Like he got Mewtwo first and then proceeded just to like shit stomp everybody
Yeah,
else.
that's
Yeah.
gamers, man.
Dude, and I was, speaking of which, I always think of the like to me the original, the original glitch, which was missing no,
Hmm.
and I was like, that was about the extent of my breaking of the game.
Yeah, we progressed a little bit
Just,
from
just,
there.
just a
A
little,
tad,
just a little bit.
just sliver.
But another, but another game that I mean I really want to bring up, and I'm going to because I know it's passionate for you, and that's
Hmm.
Horizon.
Of
Uh,
course.
Speaking, what is it with Horizon? What about it?
What is it with Horizon?
Yeah.
Ah, this is a question I'm asked a lot. So I would consider myself a big gamer for life, but I wasn't really into video games as an art form until 2017 after I played Horizon Zero Dawn.
Mm.
What is it about that game specifically that made me think of them like that? I don't know. But I remember um, it was my birthday. I think it's like, forget when. It was like a birthday or something, and my dad was like, "Hey, you can just get like any game from the store." I'm like, "That's awesome." And in my eyes, I had already like in my mind, I already knew the game I wanted. I wanted Tokiden Kiwami 2. It's like a Monster Hunter like where you're fighting against demons and you have like a cool chain scythe and stuff. Anyway,
That's
I
dope.
played the demo and I was like, I want this game. Walking in the store, corner of my eye, see a freaking metal dinosaur with a girl with red hair and a bow and arrow. I'm like, bow and arrow versus a metal dinosaur. I have to know how this goes. Yoink. Um, Played the game, loved it. Played it a second time, loved it even more. Platinumed the game, and then played it a third time, loved it. I think I've played through it like 25 times or something. I've platinumed it at least 3 times.
Oh, wow, wow.
And then Horizon Forbidden West came out, same thing. And I'm like, damn, these games are so fun. And I think because they come out next to, generational open world titles like Breath of the Wild and Elden Ring, they oftentimes get overshadowed. But there are so much, like, just there's so much peak. There's so much peak in Horizon that does not go addressed because
Mhm.
it follows the map marker style of open worlds, which a lot of people automatically discount. But in terms of like lore and world building and design, especially, and then also combat, I think they're like
Oh,
top
combat's good.
class, top class, and it's just like Elden Ring, man.
I think I agree with you. Like I think like, when like especially with Horizon Zero Dawn the first time I played, I haven't finished. I got to really like kick in to go play Forbidden West. But I think with Horizon Zero Dawn, I just it felt so unique.
Hmm.
I liked the character of Aloy.
Yes.
Um, I liked that her with Rost right off the bat. I liked their connection. I think Halo is just a fun character, just interesting and like, and the fact of like a post-apocalyptic world. Spoilers, I guess,
Yeah,
but
kind of.
like yeah, for a game that came out almost 10 years ago. But like in a post-apocalyptic world, which I thought was such a sweet twist on it, and I was like, oh damn, humanity fucked up again.
He met
Like
one guy, one really stupid guy. Ted
someone
Pharaoh, my goat.
someone really sat there and was like, hey, be a really cool idea, metal animals, and you're just like,
Ship it.
okay, do it,
Yeah,
yeah,
sounds
yeah.
cool to me.
Like, and no one really was like, hey, this
But I mean,
could be
I think what really gets me like talking about it even years after Forbidden West has come out is how in depth the lore is,
Mm.
because you have like the very like the surface story, but there are so many logs you can read, and I don't know who did their lore, but they went freaking in. There are essays and essays and essays of like history for each individual tribe and how each machine came to be and each of the AIs and stuff and like the previous old world and I've read through all of it. It's so
Because
interesting.
if I remember right, aren't the people here all clones anyways of original people, or is it
Yes,
just Aloy?
essentially they weren't like specific clones of individual people aside from Aloy, but they were made from the genetic material of people that existed in the old world, and
That
that
makes sense.
genetic material was unaltered because they were afraid of the implications of tampering with it.
But not metal animals.
But not okay. So not to be that guy,
Yeah.
not to be that guy. Um, the old world people didn't make the metal animals. They Ted Faro made the Pharaoh swarm, which
uh,
was like the mass of weapons that could hack anything and could reproduce themselves and stuff like that. Those guys ended the world, and then when the terraforming machine of Gaia brought the world back to life, she used metal machines to help terraform the planet because they would blend in more and be less scary to the new human inhabitants.
that that's fair. I can kind of see that.
The reason why they started going a little bit crazy is that the AI responsible for creating the machines went rogue at the same time as the main villain.
Oh,
So
Silas,
Hephaestus was
right?
like, let's add more guns.
Yeah, let's just add more
Just
guns.
add more guns.
I mean, that's all that pretty much that just works in general.
Yeah.
Like, but yeah, no, I think that's and you mentioned before that it's like an art. It's art.
Hmm.
I mean, video games are an art form, and I think Horizons is another one like that. That you once you start to really invest your time into it and get a chance to go into that open area and start seeing what the world is, it is quite beautiful. Like I thought it was honestly one of the prettiest games I've ever seen.
Horizon Forbidden West to this day is still probably one of the best looking games of all time. It's so detailed. The render distance is crazy, but then also like the art style, you can tell which tribe people are from just by a single glance, and
Mhm.
then even like what those tribes' values are and like what they determine to be like good traits. They represent it through their clothing and their cities and their agriculture and stuff. And you're like, damn, they really thought this out.
And I think that's really cool because like that sense of just going all in. Like they had, I think it's Gorilla. Is it Gorilla
Yeah,
Games?
Guerrilla Games.
Okay, they had like they were like if we're gonna do this, we're gonna do this 110%.
Yes, and
Because
they
I'm
did.
glad that they felt good enough to back it. Like I'm glad that Sony backed it. We're like, all right, this is awesome.
And
Um,
I'm glad as well that like I think the jump from Horizon Zero Dawn to Forbidden West was pretty crazy
really,
because like they're I think it's the best example for sequels that are a lot like the original. They kept the core gameplay loop of fighting machine dinosaurs with bow and arrows,
mm,
and they added so much to that core concept that the gameplay in Forbidden West is just like night and day better than Zero Dawn, which was
really,
already very good. Um, but it's like a proof case of the the efficacy of sequels, I guess.
hmm. Well, yeah, your sequel should always find some way to improve upon the original in some way. I always joke about, or you could go the Jack 2 route and just
Yeah, Jack 2 is like a cutesy little platformer. Okay, now he's got a gun.
hey,
Now
what do people like?
he,
People like
he ain't
guns.
messing around anymore.
I'm gonna kill Praxis. Like, I loved the edgy phase,
Hmm.
but and when it comes to Horizon, with this new one especially, because I don't know much about this new one at all. And
The multiplayer.
yes, like, is it still set in like the world of Forbidden West, like in Forbidden West style? Because I don't know if like Horizon Zero Dawn and Forbidden West itself, it's like those are completely technically new areas, right?
Yes, so Horizon Zero Dawn, I think it's like Colorado,
Okay,
technically.
yeah, because I think did you see that? I think the yes,
And then Forbidden West is San Francisco. Um,
San
but
Francisco.
yeah, but so
Um,
they're two different areas. I'm not too sure that not much information has been revealed about Hunter's Gathering, which is the new
mm,
multiplayer one. But we do know it is canon, and it will have a
oh,
story mode. So I anticipate that some of these characters will be present in Horizon 3 in some way, shape, or form.
Mm.
Because like that was the one detail that Guerrilla Games did say. They're like, yes, this is canon to the Horizon universe.
Okay, cool. So I'm wondering if it's gonna be like a prequel or something, maybe of like the people before before Aloy, before all of them, you know, like an
It's
indie.
kind of funny too because like in universe, Aloy, like if you watched Naruto before, Aloy just has like Hashirama cells. Um, Elizabeth Sobek, who is the woman that Aloy is cloned from, is just like the goat. Like definitively, like if you had to rank humans, she's number one. And
Really,
so, so just being a clone of Elizabeth Sobek just gives her like Elizabeth cells, and that just makes her goaded.
it's
Um,
kind of dope though.
it's so funny.
Like it's just it is really, I don't know, like it's one of those pieces of work. That's why I put it up visually. I put it up with places like what is that called, Ghost of Tsushima and stuff like that. Like I have like kind of like a ranking list of just like some of the most beautiful games I've ever played. But like it's one that I'm gonna have to go back and kind of like maybe slow down a little bit on,
Yeah,
because that was more for the main story, and I still found it very engaging. Also, I believe Lance Riddick is
yeah,
in it.
yes, he is.
Um, the Silas loved. I mean, that man had a voice of a villain. I don't care
And
what ever.
R.I.P. Lance Reddick. Yeah, that was
Reds. I'm terrible with names. Um, but I always joke about him. Like he had the voice of someone who you're just like, if he tells you like I'm going to take your lunch money, he's just taking your lunch
yeah.
money.
It's like here you go.
Like I don't, you know, this guy could be the nicest person. He's like, you're gonna have a great day at work, and you're like, I'm not gonna have a great day at work. But so like my thing is like I know we kind of see every once in a while people kind of complaining about, obviously complaining about the new game
Hmm.
coming through before it even gets really a chance to sail itself. For the people who are like unsure about this, like would you recommend them going and playing the first two to really grasp this one, or like, just
Well, I
like
mean,
what would
I
you
would
tell someone?
recommend people play Horizon Zero Dawn and Forbidden West any day for any reason. I think that they are some of Sony's best work personally. Um, your mileage may vary, of course. Sometimes it just doesn't click with certain people, but I think that a lot of people just don't hear about it online and they confuse that with these games not being good because they aren't hearing about them. But it's like, no, it just released next to Breath of the Wild and Elden Ring. They got 1-2
Mm,
comboed by Game of the Year open world games.
yeah,
Uh, but but these games are very good. They are a master class in a lot of different areas. And once Horizon 3 does come out, I don't know, 2029 or whatever, then you'll have a very good trilogy on your hands to play as well.
that's fair. And actually, something that you mentioned with there is that games that kind of get overshadowed.
Hmm.
Because I think that does happen a lot, especially
Yes.
when people. I had someone earlier who was just like, stop playing games and just expecting them just to be better. Which, sure,
Yeah. I mean, games get overshadowed all the time. And I think part of that overshadowing is the emphasis that we kind of societally place on like media attention behind games.
okay,
Because we know, like objectively, the Horizon games have sold a ton. Right?
right.
I think the franchise right now is nearly at 40 million collective sales,
Oh my god,
um, which is like incredibly high. Way high. Like Horizon Zero Dawn sold over 20 million copies, which you wouldn't even think is true based off of how people talk about it.
right.
But it's one of the most popular Sony IPs, especially for being so new, relatively. Like
Mm,
it's not God of War or Spider Man or The Last of Us, but it's putting up those kind of numbers. Um, but when
that's
a game gets
amazing.
overshadowed, it doesn't even have to affect its sales. It just needs to affect how it appears online. And people you'll oftentimes see as well like this game's dead, this game's irrelevant. Who cares about this game? And those points don't matter, especially for single player games, but even for multiplayer games as well. If you're having fun, like if people said that for Helldivers 2 when he was getting 100,000 concurrent players.
Right. No, and that's something so true too, is like the fact of, the Reddit rhetoric around people just being like, this game sucks, this game's dead, this game's whatever. We saw that with High Guard just recently.
Mhm.
And unfortunately, I think they are kind of shutting that down.
Yeah.
Um, it sucks, like it does.
I mean, one really good example I think is 2XKO, the riot fighting game.
Is it fun?
It's very fun.
I haven't played it yet.
The game is sick and it's very fun. What it needs, and I think everybody who either likes or hates the game has the exact same criticism. It needs more characters. It launched with a very small roster, which I think is kind of fair for being a free to play game. But when people think of League of Legends, the very first thing they think of is characters. And so everybody wants to play as their favorite League character. And right now, 2XKO just doesn't have that. So they're
That
adding
makes
more
sense.
characters as time goes on, but it'll take a little bit. However, immediately after the release of 2XKO in January, I think like less than a month later, Riot Games laid off half of the 2XKO staff. And so a lot of people were like, game's dead, pack it up, it's over. And people getting laid off sucks, but I don't think it's a full result of the performance of the game because they had 160 people working on it, which is a lot to
That's a lot.
continue a fighting game, especially one of this size.
Right.
And when you think of a company the size of Riot Games, they don't make decisions quickly. So the decision to lay off half of the staff was probably made before the game came out, right? There's no way they would have been able to respond to sales and then make this decision within less than a month. So I think that was always the plan, which is really scummy on Riot's part because a lot of these people had been working at Riot for like a decade.
Right.
But they weren't planning on keeping these people unless 2XKO was like the biggest game ever, which it just wasn't going to be, right? That was never the plan. But people have seen this news and are now like, 2XKO is dead. It's over. The supports, they're not supporting it anymore. Everybody knows the game's in the gutter. It's like, no, whoa, hold on. Slow
Right.
down.
Yeah.
Game's still alive. They actually just announced 2 new characters like 3 days afterwards. But it's like people make this assessment based off of vibes more so than any objective data.
That's super true. My question actually to be then, in your opinion, when you hear something like that, like what's the first thing that kind of crosses your mind? Like when the company is like, we're just gonna lay the people off, like kind of like almost shortly after that game like kind of drops.
I think it sucks. I think it sucks even more when it's a big company because they definitely have the funds to keep those people on. And if you truly believed in the product that you could make it into something really big, then you wouldn't be getting rid of those people. But like they want the short term bump
Right.
on the profit sheets. I think a really good example, Microsoft a few months ago, they had like that really big layoff.
Right.
And then at the exact same time, they were like, Xbox is doing better than ever. Like, and I'm like, okay, you're doing better than ever, but you're laying off thousands of people. Like, that's so. Yeah.
It is a really shitty like thing to even think about. Like the fact that if you're like a person who's been working there for a long time, you get laid off, and then right afterwards, it reminds me of the if you remember the Sony, was it CEO or whatever, who was talking about all the other cars that he was getting.
Oh, was it Bungie? I think it might have been Bungie's
Maybe
CEO.
Bungie. I thought it was Sony, but it could be.
I know
Bungie.
there's somebody who has a bunch of cars. Who's the
Yeah, and they
CEO.
were
I
talking
know what
about
you're
all these
talking
cars
about.
and stuff they were getting, and like right after they like left like a huge layoff.
I think like here's the thing, right? Games are a huge investment, so I can understand if like a mid-sized to small studio puts out a game, it just doesn't hit, and now they're forced to lay off people. And I'm really sympathetic with that situation because it's like very clearly they don't want to do this. They just can't afford to keep those people on because the game flopped. That's one thing, and I still feel bad overall that happens.
Right.
It's another thing when like AAA studio, they've got billions upon billions of dollars. They hit record profits this year. Game comes out, barely misses the margins. Boom, studio's done.
No.
I remember Microsoft with Tango Gameworks. Like, they were bragging about how Tango Gameworks made a Hi-Fi Rush.
Oh,
Yeah, and so uh like you have all these tweets and press releases where they're like, yeah, Tango Gameworks Hi-Fi Rush, this game was awesome, this game sold well, this game was rated well, it was going to win us awards. uh but it's not Activision Blizzard though. Oh, we did just spend $55 billion on this other company. And then they can them. And then immediately afterwards, you have higher ups being like, we're looking for smaller studios that can give us prestige and awards. And I'm like, you guys just canned one of those.
Right. Yeah, and that's, I think that's the part that really, it leaves a sour taste in your mouth, even just as a gamer.
Mm-hmm.
Um, when seeing companies like laying off people that they don't, it doesn't feel like they need to.
Yeah.
You know, and I know it's off of, like I said, you kind of mentioned before, it's off of emotion, it's off of vibes, but it doesn't really feel like you need to lay off these people and like maybe bring them to a different project or something.
Mm-hmm. I think a lot of people also underestimate the talent drain that goes down when this type of like when these type of layoffs happen, because a lot of people oftentimes they look at the studio, they're like, okay, Blizzard, BioWare, Guerrilla Games, Sony broadly, or whatever. They just look at these studios, but they're not looking at the people. And sometimes there's a lot of people that are very pivotal in the creation of certain
Mhm.
games. And if they leave or they get let go or whatever, that can drastically impact the type of games that come out from that studio going forward.
Yeah.
It's so like we see the name, but it's like it's only a name. What really matters is the people, because those are the ones with all the talent doing the work.
Right. Well, and then, that's why I kind of felt for like talent wise, I use Hi-Fi as an example, or High Guard as an example, but also Four Loop had this same thing too. People just didn't realize it as much, but they were like from some of the creators of Left 4 Dead,
Mm-hmm.
and I've noticed that companies will do that where they try to like, hey, we like it because of this, you like Left 4 Dead, so you might like this game too. I don't think that's necessarily a good idea to always put on someone. We see that, like I said, with High Guard right now. I'm not,
Yeah.
that just saying because they made Titanfall doesn't necessarily. Gamers are kind of dumb, and they don't really
Gamers are
recognize.
kind of dumb. Not no offense, gamers.
Like, no offense, but like some of y'all are kind of dumb, and you guys don't understand that. Like, just because these are some developers from there doesn't mean that they're making the game. Like, they made Titanfall. Like, you can just do it.
That's another thing that kind of peeves me a little bit. When people who are a big fan of a certain art form, whether that's video games or I see this a lot of time also in anime, they are a big fan of that art form, but they don't know how it's made, but they still speak on it like they know how it's made.
Dunning Kruger.
Yeah, yeah. The amount of times I've seen people say, like, this is how game development works, this is how animation works, and I know that's just like not the case. I'm not sure where they got this info from, but they're operating off of these false beliefs and then criticizing studios based off of those false beliefs when it's like good examples. Last was Part Two. People like attack the voice actors for the decisions of the writers, and you're like, why would they attack the voice actors? And you have people coming in genuinely saying, oh well, the voice actor came in and demanded that they change the script, and so obviously all of these things happened because the voice actor themselves would have demanded these changes. And I'm like, okay guys, let's be real for a second. We voice actors are happy to get a job. They're not walking into these big AAA studios and demanding changes to scripts and getting that actually approved. That's not happening.
No, they're not, and that's why like one of my most hated statements that like a lot of gamers make is like, as long as they just do it right, you know.
Yeah, just do it. Just do it right.
Yes, as long as they do it right, I think it'll be a good game. And I'm like, this is the most unintelligent attempt to be somewhat like intellectual I have ever heard in my life.
Yeah, I was kind of talking about this as well. Like gamers, we don't know what we want. And I think this isn't even just about gaming. This applies to like people who watch movies, people who read books, people who everything. Like, if you want original ideas, then you don't know what you want because it has to be made, right?
Mhm.
Like like sure, people can always go like, I want more God of War, I want more Last of Us or whatever, but that that is predicated off of it already having existed in the first place.
Right.
When it comes to genuinely like new good ideas, you don't know what that's going to look like until it's put in front of you and you're like, ah, this is awesome. This rules.
The first one I think of, I'm not gonna lie, come to mind is like Jujutsu Kaisen and
Mm-hmm.
like the Jujutsu Kaisen readers. Um, like I,
Readers.
the readers, the ones who only watch the leaks and then
Mm-hmm.
never actually engage in the art form. Because there's a guy I like watching. I think it's like manga minist. I think it is.
Okay.
Um, he does a lot of JJK stuff. He does like the releases, like just really questions that he gets and stuff like that, and they're kind of fun to listen to. They're like 5 to 6 minutes long, and it there was some of them like some questions up about being like, so like how could Toji beat Gojo if and they're just he's like I he's like shout out to them on this, but like you guys just don't read like
I that it's such a problem. I think it ties into leak culture broadly
mm,
and probably even TikTok culture a little bit. So many people, they'll see a clip of something on TikTok, they'll see the leaks pop up, and like they'll scroll through all the photos that are like poorly translated, and they'll go, "This is equivalent to me having read this or having watched this," and it's like, no, simply like you could sit down, you could go to a wiki and read a summary of something. That's not the same as like getting things in the order as intended with the same background music, with the same pacing, all this stuff that's cut out when you see it through a clip or on a TikTok or something, because it cultivates a different experience.
right?
And also, a lot of people don't realize this. When people watch anime through clips, it's always the exciting moments, but it's never the moments that provide context.
No,
Like there's so many like nobody's clipping and posting all the scenes where they're explaining the culling games, like the rules of the culling games, but they are clipping all the fights, and then people are like, "This is I've watched it essentially. I've seen all the fights." It's like, no,
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 yeah,
no, you haven't.
it's like when like JJK only has fights, and you're like,
So true.
you just zone out during
It's
like
actually really funny because JJK first got its flowers, I guess, because people were comparing it to God of High School, which was also animated by Mappa Studios. It was actually funny enough in the same production line as JJK, and there was a scene where, uh, have you ever seen God of High School?
I've seen like up to I think it's like episode 8.
Have you ever read God of High School?
No, I haven't gotten to it
Okay,
yet.
so there's a move that the main character Jin Mori has called the triple kick,
Yep.
where he like hits you twice in the side of the head and then down here. And they didn't animate it in a way that was very similar to the way that
No, he's trying to just three kick someone.
the thing was in the webtoon. And so people were like, "Oh, this is a trash adaptation." Mind you, uh, despite all the story issues that I have with God of High School anime, it's one of the most beautifully animated TV anime ever. The fight choreography is insane. But then,
Jin versus Dan was just
yes,
beautifully done.
yeah, and then uh Jujutsu Kaisen came out, and there was that one little small exchange between Gojo and Sukuna that happened, I think, in like episode 2 or whatever.
Hmm.
Um, and people clipped the hell out of that, and they were like, "This is better than God of High School. See, this is what we wanted from God of High School." I'm like, you guys do realize it's the same people animating both of these, right? This is the same production line. It's the same studio. It's literally the same people. Um, and either way, that's how JJK got its flowers because people were dumping on another anime, and now people are just dumping on JJK with to praise other anime. It's a
Right.
vicious cycle where people don't know how to compliment without putting down something else.
That's true, and especially I mean, I enjoy JJK. I thought like I enjoy
I
it.
love JJK.
Like it's, but a lot of these are the same type of anime watchers, manga readers that really just they just skip the cutscenes and then they're like, I don't get this game, and so like,
That actually kind of
um,
reminds me almost sort of a topic change about Expedition 33.
mhm,
When people would start playing that game, they'd be like, "I played an hour. This game's trash." You saw a lot of those comments.
mhm,
I think it's very funny because I consider the first hour of Expedition 33 to be an amazing opening.
yeah,
Um, but there's very little gameplay. There's like a gameplay tutorial, and then it's mostly cutscenes. And I think genuinely a lot of people just like are cutscene skippers. But that doesn't work when you play a story game, right? If you're playing a story game, the cutscenes are like half the reason why you're there.
Well,
Uh,
you're right, and I think that's also and to add on to that point a little bit. I think that's also because a lot. It seems like a lot of these players will, or players in general, will skip the cutscenes and they'll go watch like a 2 minute thing of it
mhm.
online and be like, okay, well that's what it means. So they don't have to like skip their. They can just skip their game and let someone else do it for them.
Yeah, I think forming your own opinions is quite important. I think tying this back into leak culture, leaks make it very difficult to do that because without even the game being out yet, so that you know to avoid spoilers, you could get hit with something that will change your entire frame of reference and actually like stop you from having an organic first playthrough or first opinion of something.
Hmm.
Like if you I think once again Last of Us Part 2 a great example of this. Spoilers for that game I guess, but the Joel's death was leaked months
Yep.
beforehand, and people got really mad. And I think if that didn't get leaked beforehand, people would not have been as mad because they wouldn't have gone into their playthrough being angry. But because they were mad off of this isolated cutscene getting leaked, now they went into the playthrough. They approached the game with anger and hatred. And so it's like you can still like or dislike the game. I'm not saying you have to love The Last of Us Part 2 or the direction it takes things, but
Exactly.
uh, people weren't even giving it an organic shot because they already came into it with mass amounts of anger.
Well, and that's the same. I mean, similar to with Dragon Age. Dragon Age Vilgard had the same thing. That one dinner scene with Tosh and
Mm-hmm.
and their mother, and no context behind it, no anything, and then people just blew up over it. And they're like, "This is the reason why gaming is dying." And I'm like, "Explain to me how." You know, I get people that like I get people that came in my last live I had someone come in there and or last the one before that someone come in there and was like trying to give complaints that is the same thing we've always heard before. It's basically the games are too woke now,
Yeah.
kind of like whole thing.
Classic. That's an old
Yeah,
favorite.
oh yeah, but without trying to make it sound like I don't have a problem with it, but like I just feel like and I'm like you just moving back and forth, my guy. Like just say what you got to say. Like
Mm-hmm.
I already know what you're going to say. It's just a matter. And so eventually I was like, let me just stop you right there.
Yeah.
So like, you're not saying what you want to say.
Yeah, but oftentimes they honestly don't know what they want to say. I think I pointed this up before once, but like specifics is something that a lot of people tend to avoid when they're pulling off the anti woke argument. Because
Mm,
if they use specifics, then they have to say, oh, this game that I actually like falls under this category. Or this game that I don't like doesn't fall under this category. In fact, it would fall more under a game that's like traditionally non woke.
mm,
But I don't like it. So now how do I rectify that? But
mm.
if you don't use specifics, if you just use broader terms like woke, which you can constantly keep changing the definition of, then you can just apply that to any game that you want.
Right,
Um,
exactly.
I
And
I
I
think
get a
that's
lot
the
of also.
strategy with like a lot of the modern game hate. When people say like modern games are dying, but modern games, I don't think modern gaming is dying. I think just a lot of the legacy studios are having rough patches right now. But if you look to other places, that's where you'll find a lot of really good games. Like sure, BioWare, EA, Blizzard might not be in their best place as they were like 15 years ago, but Larian Studios or Remedy Entertainment or something might be picking up the slack there, but people just aren't looking at them because they aren't traditionally legacy studios.
That's true. And I mean, there's a lot of like that rise and fall. It happens all the time. And it's interesting enough is that we are more okay with it with sports.
Yeah.
Something like sports, absolutely. Like I mean, teams rise and fall all the time. The New England Patriots, right after the fact of Tom Brady leaving, was just like that. And then they started rising right back up. But like people are okay with it. But when it comes to gaming, it's like, oh my god, like no one's going around being like the Patriots are dying. Oh, maybe, but like, but like when it comes to gaming, it's so like melodramatic.
Yeah.
It's these are just the worst, and then my brain always goes to like the guy who was like pronouns and just fucking
That clip is so good, man. Uh,
like
Pronouns.
fucking pronouns. And I'm just like, oh my
He was
god.
complaining about Starfield too. That was the funniest part. Like
Yeah.
that was a rant about Starfield of
When you
all
have to start
games.
going out of your way to go be pissed, like I think it's time to put away the mic for a little bit.
Yeah, I
And
think Baldur's Gate 3 just shuts down any of these arguments, unfortunately. It's just like if you include X group of people, if you have all these things, the game will be bad. Boom, Baldur's Gate 3.
yep.
Sorry, you're wrong. Baldur's Gate 3 exists.
Oh, and yeah, they'll always use the same like 3, 4 games every single
Hmm.
time. And I'm like, you know how many games came out this year, like just in 2025 alone, that were like absolute bangers? Like, yeah, but like, I mean, but like Concord was still bad, and I was
Hmm.
like, okay,
Bro, I've been playing Death Stranding 2 like a man possessed recently. I played it for like 120 hours. It was the only game I played back in June and July. And then recently in the past week, I picked it back up. Doing delivery. My delivery simulator made by Kojima is goated. And I will stand
my
by that.
delivery simulator. I want Kojima to. This is like Kojima's version of Paperboy, and so
It's so good, man. It's so, and so like this run that what I'm trying to do is I'm not going to use any vehicles and I'm not going to use any roads. I'm not going to use any of those like transporting devices. I'm just going to walk everywhere.
oh
And,
wow.
at first I was like, yeah, this is a challenge run. This is not a challenge run. This is just fun. I'm just having fun. I'm not feeling challenged in any way. And
I
I'm
haven't
just
played
like,
it yet. I haven't played the first one either. Like
oh man.
I've been planning on it, and then every time I do, I'm just like, ooh, there's this game, and then I go like, right now it's
Yeah,
a
I know that feeling.
Grand Blue Fantasy Relink,
Yeah.
and that game is awesome. It's been really really fun to play, and I've enjoyed every ounce that I had with it. I've heard there's a really huge like end game to it,
Well, that's cool.
which
That's
is
always
really
fun.
cool. It's multiplayer as well, which I was like, I kind of want more multiplayer like story games like this. Like I would
Hmm.
love that. Um, because like it kind of plays similar to a little bit like Tales of Arise, but at the same time, there's a little bit of Kingdom Hearts in there too. Like
Ooh,
you can
that's good.
also collect different characters. So like I can collect characters from all over. Each one has their own different play style. Like they did really good with this, and like I'm glad that it's from a, I don't remember the studio that the name comes from, but like these are the games that like I tell people go and play. If you are sick of playing like the same games over and over, go
There's
play
plenty of
something
other
like this.
options.
Yeah, there are. It's
I mean,
like
actually,
going.
speaking of multiplayer, just real quick, Slay the Spire 2 got its trailer the other day. It's going into early access. That
What
game,
is Slay the Spire? I keep being told how to play it, but I don't know how to play it.
Slay
I
the
don't know what it
Spire
is.
is a deck building roguelike game.
Oh, fun.
I think it came out in 2019. It is the GOAT of roguelikes. Definitively, probably one of the biggest time sinks I've ever seen in gaming. It is so addictive. You will pick it up and you will play. You're like, okay, just one more run, just one more run. Why is it 3 a.m.? Where did the
Damn.
time
Okay.
go? So many synergies. There's multiple playable characters, and then there's like difficulty modes and stuff. But it just feels right. Like everything about the cards and how they work with each other and how you can like formulate the deck. It all feels so good. So Slay the Spire 2, early access comes out March 5th. It's multiplayer.
Oh, that'll be
So it
fun.
has more characters now, and you can have multiple characters on at the same time. So I'm like, damn, they're really trying to hook people on this. And Slay Spire, just keep it in the back of your mind.
I will have to. Like the only, I mean, roguelike games I've been playing that I've been really interested. Like obviously, like Absalom is
Mm,
one of them. Absalom is so
very
good.
fun.
Um,
Have you beat it
Marvel
yet?
Cosmic, the Marvel Cosmic. I mean, it's not really a roguelike, but it's still a fun beat 'em up. But like, it's for me, it's Ball Pit.
Oh
Um,
yes, I've played Ball Pit.
I have been addicted to playing Ball Pit, and like, it's I'm like, I don't know. I just sit here and I harvest a little bit, and
And
then
I
I
throw
just
my balls, man.
yeah, I go underground and just throw my balls everywhere and hope that it takes out a bunch of blocks.
Man, I remember seeing gameplay of Ball Pit, and then I got the game, and when I got to the town building aspect, I literally laughed out loud. The fact that it's like you have to bounce around the different villagers to like build the buildings and collect the resources. I was like, this is such a funny and novel way to do this concept. I love it.
Oh yeah, and then like once I got and I love the building of it. I'm terrible. I realize like I'm so bad at this, but like I need to get better with it. But once I started like learning, also like going down into the caves, right,
Hmm.
and like seeing the the ball or the basically brick breaker.
Yeah.
I mean, it's basically brick breaker for anybody else who doesn't know what that is. That's an old game that you can go play on your phone that you
Hmm.
probably were playing on your like Windows 95.
But I love when games take like very old concepts, modernize it in some way. Here you go. Like
Yeah.
Balatro was kind of like that too. It's just like poker, but also a roguelike, and also there's like some pretty insane stuff that happens.
Yeah. I
But it's
mean,
just like the baseline is just poker.
for in one of the questions I want to ask because I'm always interested in this. In your opinion, what's a game that just I don't want to say it's slept on, but like you're like, why does this not get more attention?
Returnal.
Okay, that's fair.
Okay, so that's like the auto answer I gave, but we already talked about that. If I had to say another game, oh god, this is pretty hard. Outer Wilds.
Really? Oh
I
wait.
think
I'm thinking outer. Okay, I'm thinking Outer Worlds. Never mind.
yeah, not Outer Worlds, Outer Wilds, the indie game that also came out in 2019. 2019, by the way, very packed year for indie games. Very slept on year. A ton, like I think Disco Elysium, Outer Wilds, and Slay the Spire all came out that year.
Oh wow.
Some very good games came out, but Outer Wild is a game that I literally can't talk about because if you hear any info about it, it ruins the experience. Um, I just say play the game.
I think it's on PlayStation Plus as well, so maybe I'll give that a shot.
Play the game. It's so. I'm not even gonna finish that sentence. It is a game that exists that I recommend highly that you play, and I think the reason why it's underrated is because of exactly this. Everybody who plays it intuitively knows the less you know about it, the better your playthrough will be. And
That's
so convincing people to play it just consists of going, it's really good. You should play it. I'm not going to tell you anything about the game.
fair. I know. I love that. Like I always say, for me right now, it's Starlink. Starlink
Mm,
Battle for Atlas.
yeah.
Um, the game came out in 2017, I believe. Came out on the PS4. The Switch version had the version where you could like have Star Fox and stuff like that. It was one of the last games that I can think of off the top of my head that still had like the toy feature
Hmm.
to it as well. And I found more places. I'm gonna start buy. I told myself I'm gonna start buying like the miniatures and all that stuff because they're just really cool. But like this, yeah, the Switch version allowed you to play a whole. They had whole like Star Fox basically campaign. When I was talking with Saving Throw in a previous podcast, she was the lead writer for it.
Ooh.
And then I just happened to be like, oh, this game just happened to be out. I'm like, okay, let's give it a shot. And I've been just hooked. Like it's just fun. Like it's just like I get to stay in my ship. I get to customize different, my left wing has one weapon, my right wing might have another, and I get to fly around from different planets. The fact of it's got some of the best ground to space like travel. So
Hmm.
like you can full on like just leave the planet. You'll break out of the atmosphere, and then you can full on fly from one planet all the way to another.
Damn. That's cool.
Yeah, and then when I decide to be like, all right, well, I'm gonna go to a different part of the planet. I'll fly to a different section, dive back in, go enter in back into the atmosphere, and just keep on. It's seamless.
I
It's
mean,
crazy.
space games are hard for that reason, like hard to make, because a big part of people why people want to play a space game is that feeling of exploration and that feeling of like discovery.
Mm.
But making it is hard.
Yeah, I
Making that
give
is difficult.
it's one of those. Like I said, it's one of those games that I give, and I probably will do another video on it because I love the game so much. Um, it's so much fun. Like it reminds me of like a game that you would get from like the PS2, the GameCube era, the early 360. Just there to have a good time. The characters are kind of like upping, kind of goofy. They remind me of like a Saturday morning cartoon kind of like show that you would watch. You're never out of your ship. Like you are always in your ship wherever you go,
You're a
which is
big
kind
ship
of nice
guy.
too. Yeah, yeah, and I think my ship looks pretty fucking badass.
I mean, that's part of the fun, right? Like, why have
Oh,
a
dude,
cool ship?
customization is everything.
Yeah.
Like if your game doesn't allow me to create my own character, I will rant and scream and bitch and moan. Like,
Honestly, I think Monster Hunter Wilds and Dragon's Dogma 2 have pretty good character creators. I think Dragon's Dogma 2 actually might have the best one I've seen in a video game.
Really?
It's pretty crazy.
I gotta play Dragon's Dogma. I'll say Baldur's Gate had one of those. I know.
Oh,
Monster Hunter
I'm
Wilds.
getting
I
you.
am gonna go pick up.
Getting the list.
It's one I'm planning on going picking up. The other game, yeah, it like Baldur's Gate had such a ridiculously good, but you kind of need that for a game like Baldur's Gate.
Wait,
But
have
I
you played
love
any Monster Hunter game before?
no, I played like a bit of Monster Hunter Wilds, but I've never like really like or not Wilds,
Damn.
World, but like I never really had a chance to like really sit and like actually invest the time into doing it.
Yeah, we'll get on that one day.
All right, yeah, I probably will. Like the next paycheck, I've been wanting to like pick up something for like another game for the PlayStation. And it's probably gonna be Monster Hunter Wilds. It seems like everyone has a lot of fun with it,
If you
and I
want a
need
less
another
committal one, if you're getting it for PlayStation, Rise is also a good one. Rise
Rise.
and
Okay,
World.
but I mean, I think that's still is that still multiplayer? Like people still play that?
Yeah, I mean, like I could play with you. That's the thing, right? Like, first of all, people still play like 4 Ultimate and Generations Ultimate. The every
Oh
Monster
wow.
Hunter game has its own like dedicated fan base. All of these games still have players. So
Okay, then I'm gonna have to. I'm gonna have to. Is there like a versus mode? Because I don't want to get my ass kicked again, like I did against
no
Paul.
PvP except for people knocking you out of the way of
Okay,
things.
that's fair.
The reason why I recommend Rise and World is because they are cheaper on average than Wilds and larger right now because they have their expansions.
Right, no, that makes sense.
The Wilds expansion is it's announced, but we don't know when it's coming out.
Didn't they like drop like Baphomet or something like that?
Yeah, in
FF16s.
World they had Behemoth from Final Fantasy 14.
Okay.
In Wilds they have Omega from Final Fantasy 14, which is like that giant robot.
Hmm. I want to. I mean, it makes sense. You might as well. Like I love seeing when like they do when like games do crossovers. I'm a sucker for when
Yeah,
games do crossovers.
they obviously have some ties with the Final Fantasy franchise, so I'm not complaining. You get cool models,
No,
cool
no,
gear out of it.
absolutely not. Like I'm not complaining at all. I think it's actually the coolest thing ever. Um, but I do got two questions
All
for you.
right.
So the first one is always it's always what does gaming mean to you?
Hmm. Oh wow. To me, gaming is a means of expression. I think it's a not to sound annoying, but it's a dialogue between player and creator. I think what makes gaming unique in the art space is how interactive it is, just on the base layer.
Right.
Um, and seeing how different people interact with the same game and how that creates a variety of different responses and reactions and experiences. I think that's so cool.
Mhm.
Additionally, because games are so flexible in what they can be, I think you get a lot of expression from the creators as well. Like you'll have a game like Death Stranding, which is mailman simulator, but also really weird shrooms stuff going on, and then you'll have a game like Balatro, and they're both video games and they're both peak,
Right.
and um, you could have a game made by one person, you could have a game made by thousands of people. I think to me, gaming is like obviously it's a hobby of mine. It's a passion of mine, but I guess it's kind of like not to be that guy, the best art form.
It's true though. If it's true, it's true. Like I do believe so. I mean, gaming kind of the way that it incorporates so much, not just like what movies, movies and similar to that way where it's like they incorporate music, they incorporate visuals and all that, but then the interactivity between you and the creator is just it's an experience you don't get anywhere else.
Hmm.
Except for Final Destination 3 where you're allowed to like try to change you could change the bit of the story around.
Ooh.
Yeah, Final Destination 3 allowed you to do that, but they all still died anyways. So.
I mean, it's a Final Destination movie. You kind of
Right. I wanted to try to save them and they all died. So I guess like the last one is like this is a new question I've been thinking about. And what in your opinion do you think makes like just that nerd culture and everything just like great?
what makes nerd culture great? I think nerding out in general is really fun. Like, the reason why I created my TikTok channel in the first place was to talk about nerd stuff that people around me were tired of hearing me talk about. Um, because I figured, like, I created the account in 2020. It was lockdown. I was like, there's gotta be people who want to talk about video games, right? So create the account, start talking about video games, and you find so many people who are passionate about the same thing, right? Like whenever I post a Horizon video, sure, I'll get like the occasional hater here and there, but like there's thousands of people who are like, "Oh my gosh, someone else talking about Horizon online. I love this game. It's so glad to see." And then they're interacting with each other in the comment section, and I think the nerd culture of becoming very obsessed with a game or a character or a subculture within a game and being able to divert that energy into collaboration, like people who cosplay, people who do fan art, people who then go on to make other games. I think that's what makes nerd culture so great. Is when we can all appreciate each other's work, when we can all come together as a community and nerd out collectively. Because nerding out by yourself is fun, but like nerding out with someone else is awesome.
That's 110% fair. I love that. I like this question. I'm gonna start asking you more.
It's a good question.
But I appreciate you being here, man. I really do.
I
Like,
appreciate you having
for the
me, man.
people also, where can they also find you as well?
Yeah, so on TikTok, I'm Hydramazing. On YouTube, I'm Hydramazing. On Twitch.tv, I'm Hydramazing. My email is hydramazing@gmail.com. Yeah, so if you the general word is Hydramazing on pretty much wherever you're looking to find me. If there's nothing there, then I'm not on there. But if there is something, then that's me.
That's awesome. I love it. Well, like I said, man, I appreciate you being here. For everybody else who also happens to be here, you guys can catch me on Twitch, YouTube. Of course you can, because that's how you're watching this. So make sure to leave a follow and a subscribe and give me a bunch of money. I'm just kidding. Don't.
Yeah, guys, come on.
Like,
Watching this for free?
I'm trying not to be broke, guys. TikTok as well. You can catch me on there. There's a lot of clips and a bunch of random videos that I like to dump and all the other kind of stuff on there. You can hear me rant about stupid shit that don't really matter, but they do matter. Okay. I'm also up on Instagram as well. I don't really use that as much, but for some reason, my last one of my videos with chilling with the party talking about like Baldur's Gate and how you can't have certain types of people working together. Like you can't have a loot goblin going with someone who loves to like sit there and like want to cut through the game right away. That video blew up.
Yeah, that's just how content creation works sometimes.
Oh, I love it. I think it's hilarious. But I'm also up on there. I'm up on Threads as well. That one, Threads is kind of Threads is a thing. And then Facebook
Threads is
is
a thing.
Like you can catch me on Facebook as well. You can catch the same clips and all the other kind of stuff up. But as always, as I like to say, I'm Taylor from Afro Fish OG, and I will catch you all in the next one.